Hey guys, welcome to SuperMarcelWorld. So it's Friday the 13th and logically, as always, that means a video about Jason Voorhees or the Friday the 13th franchise. Today I'll do a retro review for Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Paramount really wanted to do something new since they already did about everything they could do at Camp Crystal Lake. So they thought, why not take Jason out of Crystal Lake? And why not bring him to New York? You know, it worked for King Kong, right? The film is titled Jason Takes Manhattan, but they might as well call it Jason on a Boat, because that's the truth. Jason doesn't arrive in New York up until about the last 20 minutes or something. Yeah. The rest of the film, he's on a boat. Yeah, okay, cool. Right? So anyways, let's start with this retro review for Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. The story. Jason is resurrected again, this time by electricity, and he takes out two teens on a boat. Somehow he doesn't get off the boat, so he drifts off to a nearby town, and there he boards the Lazarus ship, which is on his way to New York. And of course it doesn't take long before Jason starts taking everybody out on the ship, and eventually, he ends up in New York. What I like. Kane Hodder. Kane Hodder returns as Jason, and this was the first time that Jason was played by the same actor twice. Personally, I'm glad Kane Hodder returned. He is my favorite. I think he is the scariest one of all Jason actors. There's just something about his bulking figure, about his deep breathing, and the rage he puts into the character. I really love it. Comedy. There are a few little comedic moments in this film. Not too much, just the right amount without making the film look silly. Two terrific examples take place in New York City. When Jason arrives in New York, he sees a huge display of a hockey mask. He looks at it and then he turns around looking at the camera. This is a terrific sample of subtle humor. But the second example is the best. There's a scene in the streets of New York. Jason chases our main characters and he clashes with this group of punks. He kicks their radio because it's, you know, in his way. And they're like, dude, what the fuck, really? So they grab a knife and they threaten him. So Jason turns around and slowly lifts up his mask. And of course, Jason having this monstrous, ugly face, the guys are freaked out and they run off. It's a terrific scene and a very funny moment. Decapitation. Now there's this character called Julius. He's a boxer and he really thinks he's a tough guy. And he tries to take Jason on. Of course we know he doesn't stand a chance, but you know, the guy tried. Jason lets Julius kind of do his thing. He keeps hitting him and hitting him and hitting him until his knuckles bleed, until he's out of breath and out of energy. And then it's Jason's turn. And Jason takes one single hit and bam, he just knocks the guy's head off. It's a terrific scene. Unfortunately, it's like the only cool kill in the film. But I'll get back to that. What I don't like. Jason's disappointing look. You know, in the previous films, the reveal of Jason's face when the mask would be knocked off or pulled off, whatever, it would be a shocker. Because every time he looked different, so every time you were like, damn, that's one messed up looking face. Up until this film. I mean, what happened? Jason looks terrible. What were they thinking? He kinda looks like a rotted Halloween pumpkin or something. I don't know. The ending. Toxic waste turns Jason back into a boy. Yeah. Think about that for a second. Oh yeah, best decision ever. How lame is that? You know, I kinda like the fan theory better, where our main characters are hallucinating that Jason has turned into a boy. It's the gas and the toxic waste and blah blah blah, and they're hallucinating it. You know, I like that theory, but it's not really logical since how can both of the main characters, Sean and Rennie, both hallucinate the same thing? That's kind of weird. Or maybe we're just seeing it through Rennie's point of view. Who knows? Anyways, luckily for us, the following sequel, Jason Goes to Hell, would totally ignore this ending. Great choice. Jason's new mask. At the beginning of the film, Jason gets a new hockey mask since the original one was broken in half at the end of part 7. It's a little bit more yellow than it had been before, but sure, I guess that's fine. The weird thing is though, it's a new mask, but somehow, explain me this, somehow it does have that imprint of the axe from part 3. How the hell could that X imprint be there? How? The kills. Now, besides that one terrific decapitation, the rest of the kills are either very mediocre or just terrible. And the reason for this is the MPAA. Because, you know, they filmed a lot of the stuff, but they had to cut it out. So it was lost on the editing floor. Which I always felt is like the biggest insult to a horror film. It's a horror film. Show the horror. A lot of the gore and action was cut out, and what was left was just so sad. Most magical moment. The decapitation, for sure. It's a really cool one, a really badass kill. So it's gotta be my favorite moment of the film. Did you know? Jason versus Jason. There's a scene in New York where Jason chases Rennie and Sean into a diner. And the chef behind the counter isn't taking any of the crap. So he walks up to Jason with the intention of kicking him out. But logically, Jason is much stronger than that big guy. So Jason picks up the guy and he throws him over the counter into a mirror. The funny thing is, this big guy from behind the counter, the chef, is Ken Kersinger, who would later play Jason in Freddy vs. Jason. So when you think about it, in this film you kinda have a Jason vs. Jason moment, which is cool. The score. The film's score is done by Fred Mullin. All 7 previous films were done by series regular Harry Manfredini. And Manfredini's work is terrific, but somehow, for some reason, he was replaced by Fred Mullin for this 8th film. Lucky for us, Harry Manfredini would return for the following sequels, Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X. Overall, originally Paramount Pictures wanted this film to be the last, and that's why the ending is the way it is. That's why Jason turns back into a little boy, to have it come full circle. The flawed ending isn't the film's only problem. The kills have been butchered on the cutting room floor. The title is very misleading since most of the film takes place on a freaking ship. But the only one who's really cool and delivering is Kane Hodder as Jason. I'm so glad he returned to play the role. But the rest of the cast is pretty mediocre and forgettable. I give Friday the 13th Part 8 Jason Takes Manhattan 5 out of 10 blood-soaked guitars. So that's it for now, guys. Thanks so much for watching. How do you feel about Friday 8? Let me know below how you feel. Hit that like button, maybe subscribe or check out some of my other videos. And of course, as always, I hope to see you back next time. Bye. I know you're insecure, but I think you're still pretty hot. Really. You're still here? Get out of here.